All right, Harmony Science Academy college prep students, we got a date of 3:30 for today's lesson. The topic is still factoring special cases. Okay, these are still advanced. It's good for you guys to know. We don't have new vocabulary. We'll go ahead and type in this phrase in Google and anything that pops up, okay, images, definitions, discussions, just kind of capture something, okay, for your notebooks. And let's go ahead and continue here, okay? Now, the whole purpose of this is it's still factoring the way you guys know how to factor, but there's special cases because you can take a pretty big shortcut with these because they exist, they're pretty fun, and your eye should be trained to observe them, okay, when they are there. So, if you guys did your Google search, you found something like this, okay, where you have a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, and it's a lot of times it's just the entire expression that's squared. Okay, the variable and the coefficient. Okay, if it doesn't make sense, it'll make sense when I actually have real values in here. Okay, and what that becomes as you guys factor. Okay, you might have in your initial factoring of the trinomial, okay, to kind of clean it up. And then um, after you've done your work, it'll be something like this. A plus B, A plus B. And since they're the same, okay, that's what makes it a special case, your final answer would be further simplified as A plus B squared since you have two of them, okay? The other situation is where you have this minus 2AB, okay? Same thing, since they're advanced, you'll probably have to factor out something before you get started, okay? And in this case, you'll have A minus B, A minus B, okay? And again, it's a special case since you have the same term, okay? You can go ahead and simplify it further this way, okay? And finally, you'll be given something like this, okay? Okay, where there is no middle term, okay? So what you guys immediately want to do with these is you do want to put a middle term, okay? So we're going to go ahead and squeeze it in here. We'll simply put 0, or we can put a plus sign. Okay, since it says 0, it doesn't matter if you add or subtract it, okay? But you can introduce a middle term like that, okay? That way you can go about everything. The only thing is two numbers that multiply, right? But those two numbers add to 0, okay? And that'll end up being, let me write it over here, down here, dot, 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 A plus B and A minus B, okay? So they'll multiply to give you something, and when you add them, the plus and the minus will cancel it, okay? But this is another special case. So we'll do, these two are pretty much similar, so I'll do a scenario with this, and this one's unique, so I'll do one of these, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and look at number 1, okay? So with number 1, if you look at it right out of the gates, everyone should observe that it's these coefficients are pretty large and that they have at least a 5 in common. So you want to spend time and identify the largest, right? The greatest common factor, okay? I've spent some time with it, so I know it's a 5, which leaves me 25 a squared minus 70 a plus 49. Okay. Now, again, you could do it the other method, which takes longer since these values are larger, okay, where you multiply a times b, or excuse me, a times c. But here you want to use the trick, okay, of these special cases. So if you're going to use a trick, you've got to set it up this way, okay? You've got to identify that, hey, you know, you've got perfect squares here and perfect squares here. So then we're going to go ahead and write it this way, okay? 5a squared, okay? We'll leave the middle term alone. And then over here at the end, you must identify that this is also a perfect square, okay? So once you've got it set up like this, then you can refer to your notes, okay? And which scenario is it? It's got the minus and the plus. So you can simply skip to this part right here, okay? A minus b squared. So this is technically all of A, and this is all of B, okay? So we can write it as 5a minus 7 squared. Okay, that's a shortcut. Now all of this is A, and all of this is B. Okay, so be careful. I know it says A right there, but it's the entire expression that's being squared up here and back there. Okay. All right. And just FYI, this could have easily had a variable. Okay. But luckily they're not that advanced, so we're fine. Okay. All right. So there's that one. Okay. Now let's go ahead and jump into 5 because it doesn't have the middle term. Okay. So if you get it, great. If not, you know, we'll go slower in class. Okay. But let's go ahead and jump into 5 so we can not have too long of a video. Okay. So this scenario, immediately you can identify there's no middle term. But the first thing you want to do is what? You definitely want to factor out. Okay. So let's go ahead and, well, I guess let's follow the notes. Okay. So we'll say 588 and fourth. Okay. We'll say plus 0. The next degree down is n cubed. Okay. Between n to the fourth and n third, or n squared, minus 20, 28, and squared. Okay. Again, this one looks crazy. Just follow the process, okay? Since there's no middle term, you can squeeze it in between two of them. Now we go about taking out the greatest common factor first. Okay, this one again would take some time, but it's 12n squared. And we're left with 49n squared, okay? We're going to still have plus 0n, okay? And then here on the back side, okay, we're going to go ahead and have, what do I have? Minus 169, okay? Again, I took out an n squared from everybody. So here we go, okay? Now the next step here again, so that we can use our notes for these special cases, okay, you want to have it written out like this, okay? So we need to identify who A is, and of course identify who A is and who B is, okay? Of course you want to double check that they do indeed produce a 0 as a middle term, okay? So let's go ahead and get up in here. So here it's going to be 7n squared plus 0n, and here at the end minus 13 squared. Okay, so I know the temptations to go really fast. Later on you can. Right now just go a little slow just to really pick up on these special cases. Okay, once you've got your A and your B, okay, you can go ahead and plug it into this form here. So we're going to have still our 12n squared, and we're going to have our A, which is 7n plus 13, and we're going to have our A minus our B in this case. Okay, because of plus or minus we can combine them, but this is your simplified special case for this one. Okay, alright guys, appreciate your time. We'll catch you in class.